Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed. Today we're going to take a look at the new and improved Adapt, ProAdapt, and LuxeAdapt mattresses from Tempur-Pedic. We're excited to give you our take on all 9 of the models. Stick around. Now, as you may know, mattress companies often like to completely replace their product lines every few years. But in the case of this release, what Tempur-Pedic has done, I think, is quite smart, because this is a product lineup that has been very popular for the past 5+ years. So rather than completely replace it, what they've done is try to keep a lot of it very much intact. In fact, they've kept all of the same model names they've had before, just adding one additional model to the lineup, bringing it from 8 to 9 models. And in fact, in our estimation, they've kept actually a lot of, if not all of the same feels by and large. We've made some small updates in terms of how we assess these models relative to how we assess their predecessors, but overall, very consistent feels from what we've had over the past 5 years or so, but allowing themselves to make some improvements in the way of pressure relief and spinal alignment that we'll talk about later in the video in terms of what kinds of claims they're making on those fronts. But overall, what we're going to focus on more than anything in this video is just kind of showing you all 9 of the models, giving you our assessments in terms of their feel and other characteristics of these models so that you can kind of understand the differences between them and ultimately make the best choice for you. All right, so now we're going to get into the specific models in this lineup, starting at the entry level and working our way up. But before I do that, I just want to let you know that we're going to share some, not nearly all, of the assessments that we make about these mattresses. And a lot of the assessments we're going to share in this video have to do with feel, because that's, in many ways, that's how people can get the best idea of what a given mattress is like. And those feel characteristics, which broadly speaking would be softness, what we call cushioning depth, memory feel, and bounce, those are preference based. So there's no universal better or worse to our assessments in these areas, but there very much is likely a better or worse for you based on your personal preferences. So just bear that in mind as we provide our assessments in those areas in particular. Okay, so getting to the entry level of this collection, that would be the Tempur-Adapt models, the medium and the medium hybrid. That's the 2 models kind of at this entry level. So we found that the foam version of the Adapt is just a little bit firmer than the hybrid version of the Adapt. They're both called medium by Tempur-Pedic, and actually we would say that they are consistent in terms of their cushioning depth. So we defined softness as kind of the initial response of the mattress to, your body as you just first kind of impact it. But cushioning depth would be kind of where your final resting place would be if you were lying on the mattress. It also factors in how much it is able to conform to your body's curves, and as well as how closely it conforms to your body, all of which works together to create the sensation of either sleeping in your mattress, getting that kind of hugged or cradled sensation, or sleeping on it, which is kind of floating above it. So in that respect, cushioning depth, we have a 1 through 9 scale, with 5 kind of being the middle ground. We would classify both of these as a 7, which is towards the deeper end of our spectrum. Whereas on our softness spectrum, which also goes 1 through 9, with 5 being a dead medium, we would classify the medium hybrid as a 5, dead medium, whereas the medium foam would be a 4, just on the firmer, 1 notch on the firmer side of medium. Now in terms of memory feel, of course, both of these have a substantial amount of memory foam on the top of the mattress, right below the cover, and it also, in both cases, is Tempur-Pedic memory foam, which inherently tends to be slower responding, has more of that kind of slow melting sensation where it slowly conforms to your body, and as a result has a lot of that memory feel. So I would say in both cases, with memory feel, it's similar. We have a 1 through 9 scale, with 5 being kind of a medium amount of memory feel. And both of these would be, again, above average or above medium. We call them a 7 on our 1 through 9 scale in the case of both the Adapt and the Adapt Hybrid. But the difference would be in terms of bounce, which again is that same 1 through 9 scale, where we would say that the Adapt medium foam would be a 2, meaning very little bounce, almost the smallest you can have, whereas the Adapt medium hybrid would be a 5. You might wonder, why is it not higher than a 5? Because it does have springs, and springs are quite bouncy. Well, that's because on top of those springs is memory foam, which even in the world of foam is a particularly shock absorbing type of foam, and this memory foam in particular, given the slow responsiveness we just described, is even more shock absorbing than other memory foams. And so that foam on top kind of counterbalances some of the bounce that you get from the springs, netting out to what we would describe as a 5. In terms of edge support, we did find that the hybrid version of the Adapt was just a little bit better than the foam version. So we would classify the hybrid version as a very good edge support. The foam version, though, was still good. In terms of motion isolation, I think both of these are going to be excellent. The hybrid version does use pocket springs, so that does still a very good job isolating motion from one side of the mattress to the other. And of course, both of these mattresses are also going to be very adjustable base compatible. Now, the last thing I'll add is just that the company has told us that they've made some pressure relieving improvements to the foams in this mattress. We have not had an opportunity to really verify or assess the pressure relief in depth on these mattresses. So all I can give you is my first impression, which is that the pressure relief on these mattresses, both of these, is still very good. All right, now we've moved up to the second level, the ProAdapt level of the lineup, where you're going to have a choice of 4 different feels: a firm, a medium, and a soft, as well as a medium hybrid. So the hybrid is the only one of those that has springs. The rest are all foam construction. And again, we did find that the hybrid, the spring version, has a little bit more softness than its name might otherwise suggest, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's work our way from firmer to softer. The firm model we would classify as actually an ultra firm on our softness spectrum, meaning a 1 on our 1 through 9 spectrum. It is, for what it's worth, at the softer end of that classification, but suffice to say, it's a very firm mattress. The initial firmness of it is quite firm. That being said, it does have some cushioning depth and conforming capabilities. So we would actually classify it as a 5 on our cushioning depth spectrum, which is a good illustration of the difference between what we define as softness and what we define as cushioning depth. So moving on to the medium we found to be a medium firm on our softness spectrum, meaning a 4 on that 1 through 9 spectrum. Its cushioning depth we classify as a 6, so it's a little bit deeper than average cushioning. The medium hybrid we would classify as a 6 on our softness, meaning a medium soft, just to the softer side of medium. And we would classify its cushioning depth as a 7. So having a little bit more conformance and a little bit more sinkage and sleeping in your mattress sensation, even relative to the medium foam version. The soft we would classify as the softest of the group. We'd actually classify that as a 7, which is a soft on our softness spectrum. And likewise, its cushioning depth is rather similar to the medium hybrid we found. So in terms of its conforming capabilities and that kind of hugged or cradled sensation, I think in that respect, it's a little bit more, the medium hybrid is a little more similar to the soft than it is to the medium foam. Now, in terms of memory feel, all of these have just a little bit more memory foam than the Adapt models, more of that same Tempur material that gives it the memory feel. And as a result, we classify all 4 of these as an 8 on our memory feel spectrum. So basically right up near the top in terms of the most memory feel you can have in a mattress. And in terms of bounce, though, we would classify, obviously the hybrid has the only one having really any material amount of bounce. In fact, we would classify both the firm and the medium as having a 1 on our bounce scale, which is obviously as low as you can go. The soft, only because the foam is a little bit more playful, is a 2, but there's no real bounce, so to speak. The medium hybrid we would classify as a 5. Similar to the Adapt hybrid, it's kind of a blend of having some underlying bounce, some deep bounce when you put your whole weight down on it, but if you were just to kind of drop your arm on the mattress, the memory foam is going to more than absorb that impact without really offering much bounce back at you the way some mattresses might. In terms of edge support, we found that the firmer models were just a little bit better on edge support than the softer models. In fact, the firm ProAdapt we found to be excellent edge support. The medium and medium hybrid we still found to be good edge support, and the soft was the weakest in this particular category, but we still found the edge support to be what we would call pretty good. And with regards to motion isolation, the motion isolation on all of these is going to be at least very good. We do think it's going to be better, though, on the softer models than it will on the very firm ProAdapt model. There's a little bit of just motion that gets transferred just by the virtue of the fact that it is such a firm comfort foam on top of the mattress, but nonetheless, on balance, still in the scheme of mattresses, very good motion isolation there as well. And again, like all the mattresses that we're going to show you today, all of the ProAdapt mattresses are adjustable base compatible. And just a couple other things to add here. Number one is the cover you're going to notice is just a little bit different. It does have a zip-off cover at the ProAdapt level, which is not something that the Adapt mattresses have. It does also have both the Adapt and the ProAdapt have sort of a cool to the touch in the cover here, which is actually created through the use of a polyethylene yarn in the cover fabric, which is, polyethylene is just essentially a higher density yarn, which has therefore an inherent coolness to the touch, much in the same way that a denser material like marble would have a cooler to the touch feel than a less dense material like wood, for example. So that's present here, but they also have added a few other cooling features at the ProAdapt level, like perforations in the foam, as well as a more breathable sort of sub cover here. So there are some additional cooling features being added as you kind of step up through this line. And the last thing I'll add is that the company has made some changes. They've introduced a new foam that comes in at this ProAdapt level. They call it Advanced Relief Material, that they do believe has some superior pressure relieving capabilities relative to what they call Tempur material, which is a foam that is still used at the ProAdapt level, but is the only foam used at the Adapt level. So in comparing those two foams to one another, they do make some claims that this new material, Advanced Relief Material, has 20% better pressure relieving capabilities than the Tempur material. So that's part of kind of what you're getting as you upgrade from Adapt to ProAdapt. Now, once again, this is not something that we're able to independently verify at this time, so all I can tell you is that from my perspective, these mattresses continue to have excellent pressure relief as they have in the past, in my estimation. Now, before we move up to the LuxeAdapt mattresses, I just want to pause for a moment to explore a topic I mentioned earlier, which has to do with softness and cushioning depth and the difference between those two things. This is the ProAdapt Firm that I'm on right now, and you can see here that if I smack this thing, I mean, it's almost like hitting the sidewalk. It's so firm at first kind of glance. However, as I've been sitting on the mattress, you can also see that it does conform to my curves. Now, it's not going to conform as much as the ProAdapt Soft or even either of the mediums. However, you can see that why we gave it a 5 in terms of our conformance and our cushioning depth scale instead of a 1. Most mattresses that we would rate as a 1, which is our firmest on our softness scale, I would be able to lie on them like this and barely make a dent in them. This one, by virtue of its unique properties, allows me to have a lot of surface firmness, but also still get quite a bit of conformance and kind of that hugged or cradled sensation. Another quick thing I want to just demonstrate for you quickly is I referred to the shock absorbing qualities of memory foam. And the way I can illustrate that for you is with actually two different types of memory foam here. This here memory foam is just kind of what Tempur-Pedic would describe as ordinary memory foam. So this would be like cheap, low quality, low density memory foam that you'd get if you ordered a memory foam mattress from Amazon, for example. And this here is their new memory foam that I referenced earlier, the Advanced Relief Material. So this is a much denser formulation of memory foam, much slower responding, and also much more shock absorbing. So I can illustrate this by dropping this steel ball on the sort of ordinary, quick responding memory foam, and you hear that big bang. That's the ball just kind of going right through that foam and hitting the board beneath it. Now, of course, if those were springs below that, you'd get a much more of a bounce effect. In the case of the Tempur material here, you can hear that like the same thickness of foam is able to completely absorb the shock of the ball. So that's why if there were springs below that, you wouldn't get nearly as much pushback from them because so much of your shock is absorbed by the memory foam. All right, so now we've moved up to the LuxeAdapt level, and at this level you're going to have your choice of 3 different feels. You're going to have a firm, a medium hybrid, and a soft. So the firm and the soft are both all foam constructions, and then the medium hybrid is a hybrid with a spring support core. Now, the medium hybrid is actually going to be the new option that hasn't been available in the past, and it was created because the medium hybrid at the ProAdapt level is one of the most popular mattresses that Tempur-Pedic makes. So they thought, why not make a medium hybrid option available at the LuxeAdapt level as well, so that folks who like that feel can have the benefits of being at this LuxeAdapt level. In terms of the softnesses of these mattresses, the firm mattress is very firm. I mean, actually, we would classify it as an ultra firm, which is the same classification that we give to the ProAdapt firm. However, this is even firmer. It is right at the firmest, it's probably one of the firmest mattresses we've ever tested, to be honest, in terms of its initial firmness in the way that we just showed you. That being said, along the lines of the ProAdapt firm and along the lines of the demonstration I just gave you, the LuxeAdapt firm also does have quite a bit of conforming capabilities, so that we would actually classify it on the cushioning depth spectrum as a 5, just like the ProAdapt firm. Now let's move to the soft, the other end of the spectrum. The soft we would classify as a soft on our softness spectrum, which is a 7 on that 1 through 9 scale. And its cushioning depth we would classify as an 8. So it really conforms to your curves. You're going to have definitely much more of that hugged or cradled sensation, that sleeping in your mattress sensation when you're on that LuxeAdapt soft. And then in terms of the medium hybrid, we actually found the feel of this one to be much closer to the soft really than to the firm. The cushioning depth was really kind of in between. We'd classify it as a 7. So if the firm is a 5 and the soft is an 8, this one is a 7. That is kind of right in between. But in terms of the initial softness that we talked about earlier, we would classify this one as a 6, a medium soft. So it's really only kind of one classification away from the soft in that regard. In terms of memory feel, we're up here at the top of the line here within this Adapt collection. So naturally, these are going to have the most of that Tempur-Pedic memory foam, and therefore, not surprisingly, the most memory feel as well. The firm and the medium hybrid we'd classify as an 8 on our memory feel spectrum. So very close to the top in terms of most memory feel, but the soft we would actually classify as a 9. So the top classification we have, the most memory feel, and it's going to be a function of not only the speed with which the memory foam kind of recovers from that handprint test as an example, but also the speed at which it kind of adapts to your body and conforms to your body. There's going to be that slow, gradual adapting to your body that you're going to probably get the most of that sensation on the LuxeAdapt soft. In terms of bounce, obviously neither the firm nor the soft in the LuxeAdapt level are going to have really any bounce to speak of. In fact, we rate those as a 1 on our 1 through 9 bounce spectrum. But the medium hybrid does have some bounce, but nonetheless, because of the amount of memory foam on the top, we would generally classify it as about a 4 on that spectrum. So actually even towards the slightly less than medium amount of overall bounce. And again, we look at bounce at not just bouncing on the mattress with your entire weight, but also kind of up at the top of the mattress, how much bounce there is, how much bounce there'd be if you kind of come down with part of your weight. So it's kind of not just about the springs, it's about the entire construction of the mattress. In terms of edge support, we actually found that at the LuxeAdapt level, the softer mattresses had a little bit better edge support than the firm mattress, which was opposite of what we found at the ProAdapt level. With the LuxeAdapt soft, we found that the mattress, those upper layers of memory foam conformed so much to your body that they actually left you relatively level even when you're lying along the edge. Whereas with this firm mattress, the part of your body that's closer to the edge, that memory foam conformed a little bit more to your body than the part of your body that's a little further from the edge, and that created a little bit more of a lean. So overall, we still found that the LuxeAdapt firm had pretty good edge support, but we would classify the medium hybrid and the soft LuxeAdapt as good edge support. In terms of motion isolation, once again, we would say that the medium hybrid and the soft are going to have a little bit better motion isolation than what you'll find on the firm, but all of them are certainly going to have good or better in terms of motion isolation. And once again, all of these mattresses are going to be adjustable base compatible. And the last thing I'll add about these LuxeAdapt mattresses that applies really only to the firm and soft mattresses because they have all foam construction is that a new feature that Tempur-Pedic has introduced in the LuxeAdapt mattresses being released this year is designed with spinal alignment ergonomics in mind. What they've done is essentially taken one of the foam layers that is closer to the bottom of the mattress, and they've created cutouts in a zoned pattern in that layer of foam that are designed to allow certain parts of your body, namely your pointier, more convex parts, to get a little bit deeper into the mattress, while other parts, call them your concave parts, maybe your waist, lumbar type areas, those parts would be better supported by the mattress, so thereby achieving overall better spinal alignment while lying on the mattress. So again, that's only something that they were able to do on the firm and the soft because they have the all foam construction, not on the medium hybrid. Now, of course, this is again something that we've not been able to independently verify, but nonetheless, it is part of the construction of these two of these three LuxeAdapt mattresses, so I certainly wanted to let you know about it. And you also may see claims relating to this on Tempur-Pedic's website, where they are assessing this as offering 30% better conforming support as measured by the ability of these mattresses to conform to your body over a period of time while you're lying on them and accommodate those curves over that period of time. So there you have it. I hope you found this to be a helpful overview of this entire collection of Tempur-Pedic mattresses. That being said, we threw a lot of numbers at you, and yet we didn't even cover all of the assessments that we made of these mattresses, which include assessments of different types of sleepers and what their needs are going to be and how well their needs will be served in terms of spinal alignment and pressure relief on each of these mattresses. So what I'd recommend you do if you're looking at these Tempur-Pedic mattresses is go to our website, goodbed.com, and use our side-by-side comparison tool. That tool will allow you to see all of the assessments we made of each mattress, and will let you put them right side by side with any other mattresses in this collection, or for that matter, any other mattresses that you may be considering. That's a very helpful tool, so I'd highly recommend that you take advantage of it. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we really hope you sleep well.